You're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours. It's yours. You can have it all, yeah. Up early this morning, and I know God smiled on me. Ain't no time to sleep, no. I can't wait to start my day because I know it's gonna be beautiful like me. Hey, you're so beautiful. You're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours. It's yours. You can have it all, yeah. Hey, you're so beautiful. You're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours. It's yours. You can have it all, yeah. I look into my mirror, I love everything I see. Ain't no mistakes on me, no. I always remind myself there ain't no other me. Can't nobody else be. Hey, you're so beautiful. You're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours. It's yours. You can have it all, yeah. You can have it all, yeah. Hey you, hey you, hey you, hey you, hey you. Hey you, you're so beautiful. You're the truth, and you do it all so natural. You're so strong, and you show it anything. If you want it, it's yours. It's yours. You can have it all, yeah. Hey you. You can have it all, yeah.
Hello, family, and welcome to this week's edition of Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Radio. Thank you for tuning in all around the world. So I want to start off, this week's show is extra special. I'm having an anniversary today. Yay! So November 11th is a special day in the brand of Style and Empowerment Chat. So 1 year ago today, we joined the FM World Pakistan The Voice family. Yes, so thank you to all of my listeners and followers in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Pakistan, for just embracing our show. And today is also the 2-year anniversary of us being on Downtown Hot Atlanta Radio. Yes. So a special thank you to Wallow Archer and the whole Downtown Hot Radio family. And I see you doing big things out there. Wallow is also an actor and photographer, so he just got picked up on a series, this one series in Fox TV. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I saw your announcement. Keep shining. I'm proud of you. So in music news, we're starting off with some great music news today. So feel good stuff. So this weekend, Saturday, of course, was the Rock and Roll Hall induction ceremony. Usually it's a 4-hour thing, and they have performances within the ceremony. But this year, of course, many award shows have been doing virtual. because of COVID. So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony was right in keeping with that. So the nice thing about that is it actually enabled the show to be a little shorter, and for each artist to have friends and family spotlight the artist and reflect and celebrate the inductees. So the inductee, of course, that I am most excited about, of course, is Whitney Houston. So long overdue that Queen Whitney be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. For those of you who don't know, in order to be considered as an inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you have to have been in like the public eye consciousness with your work for 25 years. So you maybe could have released some singles and whatnot before then, but they count it as the first release that actually was on the radar of the public eye and that you got, some big success with. So, of course, Whitney, who had been singing since she was 19 years old, long past the 25-year qualifying mark. So her mother, Cissy Houston, was joined by Whitney's sister-in-law, Pat, accepting the award. Cissy related that of all the awards Whitney had achieved in life, that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was the one that she really, really wanted and had been pushing and hoping for. So though it's sad that it was awarded posthumously, I'm excited, that finally she got her roses. So let's just take a second just to go down the many accomplishments of Whitney that made her just so amazing, and why she was given this amazing recognition. So Whitney Houston was the first African American artist to have 3 certified diamond albums. So, of course, platinum is 1 million copies. I believe, I want to say diamond is when you sell like 2 or 3 million copies. So she's had 3 certified diamond albums, and to put that into perspective, this was in a day and age throughout the arc of her career before digital music was the way that people consumed and found their new music. This was at a time when everybody went out to the CD store and bought CDs, spent that $14 a pop, took a risk on if they're going to like the whole CD, and they just didn't go to YouTube or SoundCloud or other free downloading places. They bought the music. So that makes it even more of an accomplishment. Whitney Houston is certified as the most awarded female artist of all time by the Guinness Book of World Records. She's sold over 200 million records worldwide. She's the most awarded female artist of all time. She's previously won 6 Grammys, 2 Emmy Awards, 30 Billboard Awards, 22 American Music Awards, and the list goes on and on. Whitney and her music and her grace and fashion and style will live on for decades. Alicia Keys and Jennifer Hudson introduced the segment and expressed just the ways in which Whitney influenced them, and Alicia reflected in depth about her friendship with Whitney and how Whitney mentored her. And I actually did not know that Alicia Keys actually wrote one of my favorite Whitney songs, which was one of on her last CD, $1 Million Bill. So I'm like, I knew there was a reason why I actually loved that song. So just so many timeless hits from Whitney. Where Do Broken Hearts Go? Heartbreak Hotel, How Will I Know? Emotional, I Want to Dance with Somebody, You Give Good Love. Just amazing timeless music. And Whitney influenced so many young women just with her. She was always glamorous and beautiful, and if Whitney was wearing it, it became a trend. She was known either for her funky street style or glamorous gowns. So we're so excited that Whitney is now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where she truly belongs. So now other music news. So we're excited to bring to you at the top of the show. We have new music from Maxwell and Jeff Bradshaw. So Jeff Bradshaw just released on Saturday his new CD Stronger, which features collaborations with Marsha Ambrosius and many other celebrated artists. So we're going to bring you one of my favorite tracks from his new CD called Better, featuring flutist Damon Bennett. So he also does an instrumental remake of some Beyonce songs on the CD. Just a really, really great CD, so make sure you check that out. And I'm super excited to debut a new remix from Maxwell, fresh from his team. So we're going to play you his it's technically like not a new single, like newly recorded, but it's a song that's been in the vaults for a minute that he brought out and wanted people to hear, and just did a new remix of it called Love Is All. So we always support great artists, and Maxwell is of course at the top of that list. So we're about to break you off this new great music. Keep it locked into Style and Empowerment Chat with Lauren Friends Radio, and we'll be back and we're going to discuss the election and all the stuff going on. And later in the show, we're going to welcome Dawn Robinson of EnVogue, one of the iconic girl groups of all time. We'll be right back after this.
Baby, I still believe that love is all that ever was, and love is all that ever will be. Used to be the air that I breathe, but in reality, the girl was out for gold. It's not rosy. You're out for cheap, associated with me. Girl, don't play no role. And love is all that ever was, and love is all that ever will be. Don't get me wrong, 'cause I still believe, baby, I still believe that love is all that ever was, and love is all that ever will be. See, but it's about honesty, so let's not play the game. 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 Here's where you should be. Baby, come on, little bit of happy. Let's go. But apparently you only really wanted the money. Let's not play the game. 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 Let's not play the game.
I'm careful, but you know me well. That's why you're here looking so bad. Coincidence that you stopped by. It's been a while, still I can tell we're both waiting for the go-ahead to help with everything I said. The dream in your eyes, don't this sunny sky. Oh, I should know better, baby. I should know better, baby. Maybe just for tonight. Oh, I should know better, baby. I should know better, baby. It slipped my mind, said you came around suddenly with the same sweet song, showing me that I was wrong. A luxury to know for sure. Waking up to your smile is just enough to drive me wild. My dreaming eyes drawn for this same time. Oh, I should know better, baby. I should know better, baby. But I can't
welcome back to Style and Empowerment Chat with Lauren Friends. Getting your day started from great music and great vibes and good vibrations. So another reason why I'm happy and excited today is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the presidential election.
Don't think so.
Oh, yes. All right. So, first of all, before we go into that, let's just celebrate why this is just such a great thing. Regardless of what your political party and leanings are, we now have a female vice president for the first time and a woman of color, which is also breaking double barriers. Previously, every vice president in every presidential election has been an old white dude. So, it's important for women to be in roles of power. And influence, and this just is great on so many levels because this is a big step forward for gender equality. Hopefully it will trickle down to equal pay between genders, and we'll see more women in pivotal leadership roles, not only in politics, but in the boardroom and in commerce and all areas. So we are one of a few countries right now that's never had a female president. So we can't say that we represent the vested interest of all people when we only have certain types of people in our high-ranking leadership roles. So I'm so excited to see all the different things that Kamala is going to do in her new role as vice president. It's amazing just now to know that is possible, and all young girls can now grow up and aspire to be president, to be vice president, and it's creating more of an equal playing field, which is long overdue. So of course Biden was in Delaware this weekend accepting his election as president, and I thought that the speeches that President-elect Biden and Kamala Harris gave were just so amazing and just empowering and inspiring. And Biden spoke a lot about non-bipartisanship and us working together and unifying and bringing party lines together to reach objectives that benefit and make all of our lives better. So, of course, since then, President Trump has been calling out all this stuff about voter fraud and that he's not leaving office, he's not conceding until it's official, and that it wasn't officially called. And, I don't know, I've been in this voter game for about 20 years now, and every presidential election that I've watched on TV, after a certain point in the day or a day or so after CNN calls it, It is. Unless it's like one state's really close. But yes, there are states that were close. But it's not enough. Like if Trump got some of these states, it wouldn't be enough for him to win. Which is why they called it. Now, technically, the news stations will call it, and then it has to get certified, and then, it's the official calling. But this is usual. Usually the media, once they see the trending and the states say, yes, we're giving it to this candidate, we're giving it to that candidate, because it's just extra votes. It's already shown the trend of who's winning in that area, which is, and a state has to deliver 56% of a vote to a candidate for them to call it for that candidate. So, Biden has 273 electoral votes, which, of course, 270 is what the minimum requirement is to win a presidential election. So Trump is saying he's not going to leave the White House, and he's not going to release the transition funding that a new president, is allowed to have to bring their staff in and do the different changes, to go from one administration to another. So he's throwing all these tantrums and trying to make it like it's a conspiracy. You lost. You lost fair and square. There wasn't voter fraud. It's not a conspiracy. At every level, there's cameras, there's checks and balances. There's both Democrat and Republicans counting these votes. And many of these states that were like the battleground, it's real close, had Republican governors who had the final say. So then what you're saying is that your own party is part of the conspiracy? And he's not behind by a large enough margin that would really make a difference. So let's say hypothetically there was some thrown out ballots or this or that, which there's no evidence of that. And everyone on every state level, part of the reason why it took so long is because they were taking extra care so that that wouldn't happen. And they wouldn't have to hear this from Trump. So precautions and extra care were taken. And if he had won, but he didn't, Biden would have bowed out gracefully like Hillary Clinton did when she didn't win. I feel it's just so immature and tacky and unprofessional. Basically, you're throwing tantrums, and he's trying all these lawsuits, and everybody's throwing it out because it's baseless. And the one and only press conference that Trump gave, I think Sunday, I believe it was just all yelling and blustering and insulting Biden and just acting like a child. And then all the other networks from that point on just refused to air it. And they're not reporting a lot of his allegations because they're baseless and not founded in reality. So the final stage would be him bringing it to the Supreme Court to hear his grievances. But again, there's not evidence. And I don't understand why he thinks that when we're a country based on democracy, something he doesn't seem to know the definition of, and hasn't followed laws and rules himself, and doesn't seem to respect anybody but the people around him saying yes to him. And in a previous speech, it said all these anti-democracy statements. Oh, but now and it doesn't even seem like he really understands, nor has he during the duration of his presidency, the basic functionality and mechanics of our democracy. And that there are rules and laws, but he wants to kind of twist them towards his benefit, while throughout his presidency, never really following the laws. So, now, of course, the House of Representatives, the Senate, were literally hanging on by one seat to determine who's going to have the majority. So Atlanta is the race that's determining that. So apparently they're having some new election because it was so close. So they're allowing people to revote. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. What I think would really be funny is if the Democrats get the House and the Senate, and then that what was her name? Amy Pearson, I think, the Supreme Court Justice, the young girl, the conservative one. If Trump brought his grievances to the Supreme Court, and she was a defining vote that said, no, we're not going to hear it. Like, sorry, bro. But you figure people are going to judge her by that for the rest of her career. So the other thing many analysts have put on the table is why they feel that Trump is just like tantruming, kicking and screaming, and doesn't want to go back to civilian life, is because Trump's broken a lot of laws. And he has a lot of pending lawsuits and criminal charges heading his way. And if he's a private citizen and can't hide behind the cloak of the presidency and threatening and bullying people not to hold him accountable under the law, as a private citizen, he's more vulnerable. So many have said that they think he's actually kind of pounding his chest here with all this to avoid going to jail. Which is a place I feel he should have been in a long time ago. So it's also going to be interesting how all this shakes out for his children and their career prospects. But it was amazing here in Philadelphia and all across the country. People were just in such joy. I don't want to even say it was protests. It was just mass collective celebration of joy throughout these cities, flooding the streets and celebrating that, what was feeling like turning into a dictatorship, of ignorance. The end is near. On the horizon. And I think the fact that thousands and thousands of people are assembling outside of the White House celebrating that Trump lost, and here in Philadelphia and everywhere else, also underscores that there wasn't voter fraud. The people have chosen. They've spoken. They don't want you anymore. They want a new day of inclusion and articulate, educated leader with humanity who cares about all people, health care, immigration reform, equal access to education and the arts and proper medicine, and where we treat each other with respect and we don't lie. That's, the other thing. So, many people, myself included, because you're just so on edge these past 4 years and you're so worried about the outcome. And you're carrying all this stress, literally putting the gender equality angle aside. When it came through that Biden officially really won one, I just wept. And it's just the exhale of so much upsetment and stress and disappointment and dread and worry that most of us have been carrying around in the United States as all of Trump's foolery unfolds, and saying, when will it end? And so hopefully now we can get back to some good things happening for our country. So speaking of good things, we're going to take another music break. We're the rest of the show, we're bringing you some of my favorites from EnVogue, a powerhouse girl group from the 1990s. EnVogue just embodied girl power, feminism, glam, street edge, and so, of course, in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll be interviewing one of the founding members of EnVogue, Dawn Robinson, who's also had a very successful solo career herself. And we're going to be talking about the history of EnVogue and talking about the impact of girl groups in the 90s. So keep it locked into Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends. We're giving him something he can feel, hip-hop lover, hold on, desire, all the great EnVogue hits. And we'll be back after this.
Baby, 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 hey.
for material things? Are they only in my dreams? And that's exactly why I'm singing this song to you, to let you know that real dreams do come true. You tell me, what does it mean?
Living in a world of ghetto life.
Everyone is so uptight. Hey,
Nothing's wrong, it's alright. My man,
I like the way we carry on. His love and will send me on and on with my man.
people out there,
Can you
understand
understand that I'm
giving him something he can feel. To let him know this love is real.
that I'm giving love, giving love,
Giving him something he can feel.
Talk to me.
To let him know this love is real.
Gotta let him know that this
This
love's
love is
strong.
real. Giving him something he can feel.
Giving him love.
Giving him something he can feel.
Giving him love.
Giving him something he can
How long
did you think that this would go on? But you knew that I was too strong. I don't need no one to lean on.
we can't work it out? Ain't nothing to talk about. You should've known better. That girl should've known better. You can't have this ring, and we ain't discussing a damn thing. You should've known better. Now you better go get her again.
How long did you think that this would go on? But you knew that I was too strong. I don't need no one to lean on.
You were only trying to play me for a fool when I gave you love, good love, the kind of love you've been dreaming. You should've known better. That hoe should've known better. You should've never slept with her. Ain't gon' find nobody better than me. How long
Did you think that this would go on? But you knew that I was too strong. Don't need no one to lean on.
Chat with Laura and Friends. So we're taking you all through the fantastic catalog of EnVogue today. So we lost a great, over the weekend, Alex Trebek, who was the host of the TV game show Jeopardy for over 30 years, just passed away at age 80 years old. Jeopardy was really, in the world of the game show, was a groundbreaker. So many shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire really took their template from a Jeopardy. Alex had been fighting cancer for many years. He was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and while he was out on medical leave, Jeopardy was just running a lot of reruns and hadn't been recording any new episodes. So it's going to really be interesting to see where they take the franchise of Jeopardy after this, because he was that franchise, and there's not another Alex Trebek, and you know that show became such a part of pop culture that the phrase "who is" and what is just became part of culture, you know. And they had a couple different franchises of it. I remember they would have like College Student Jeopardy, and you know, people would go on that show and it was super competitive. Like, it was really a hardcore trivia. And I remember after a certain point they made a cap on how much you could win. So I think the appropriate thing to do would just to let that show run out in syndication and stop the production of any new episodes, because I feel it would be disrespectful to the legacy of Alex Trebek and all he brought to the genre of game show hosting. Alex Trebek always was dressed impeccably in great suits, and he didn't take any fuss from his guests, and always conducted a really well-run show. And then of course there was Celebrity Jeopardy as well, which was always kind of funny to see how much your celebrities knew about various topics. So Alex was also very active in many charities, and he leaves behind his wife and 3 children. You know, all these shows like Family Feud, they all owe really a debt to, because Alex Trebek really made the game show go to a whole nother level. So we're going to jump back into our EnVogue pocket, and when we come back, we'll be interviewing one of the original members of EnVogue, which is actually celebrating its 30-year anniversary of the release of their first CD, Born to Sing. So we're going to keep you flowing with all the girl group magic, and we'll be back with more Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Radio after this.
What's it gonna be? 'Cause I can't
just purchased 2 new Bentleys. I know that it looks trendy. So glad that it's not windy. Here comes that girl named Donnie. Ask if she wants to go. Tonight's gonna be hot for sure. Big dancing on the floor. Folks stripping, I don't know. Money flying everywhere. Champagne, we won't go there. Bottles popping in the air. They'll be screaming, I don't care.
Style and Empowerment Chat with Lauren Friends Radio. I am really standing in my blessings right now.
Partying, Laura. We were partying. Oh
Yes, yes.
Songs from EnVogue that I haven't heard in years. Desire. Oh my God.
So I'm so excited to welcome the funky diva herself, Dawn Robinson, formerly of EnVogue, and Lucy Pearl.
Yes. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We've been talking about this back and forth and getting me on your show. I am so happy to be here. Let me just explain to the fans what I did today, okay? Because they're going to be like, oh my God, her makeup. But I had to be fabulous for Laura's show, you guys, because Laura always does the most amazing eyeshadow, and I'm not good at it, but I tried. I was like, okay, I gotta put on something really bright, and then some sparkly stuff on top, and it didn't come out the way I wanted it because I'm not a makeup artist. But you are amazing.
Oh,
You're like an artist. You really are an artist when it comes to your eyeshadow. And I was like, I gotta be fabulous today. I cannot come on here just plain, okay?
Okay, so now I'm floating on a sparkly cloud because
I'm always on a sparkly cloud. That's why I said you guys join me for and join the colorful world of Laura, because you're always so colorful. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had to come on. I had to do a little extra today on my eyes.
Well, it looks fabulous, and I am
It's
bringing.
okay. It's
I,
all right.
I'm bringing my sparkle today. I know the listeners can't see it, but you can check my page later. So I'm bringing off the shoulder sparkly zebra today.
Yes, you are.
Yes, and I have my statement necklace here.
I love your necklace. Beautiful.
We're going to go all into the importance of EnVogue. But first, I just want to just take a quick second just to say how EnVogue personally impacted and inspired me. So of course, EnVogue came out in the 1990s. I was in, I think, my first year of high school then. And, right? And, right? And when you're a teenager, that's when you're starting to find your own thoughts and artists that you relate to and things that you stand for and you love and experiment and find yourself. So I'm in high school and I'm turning on MTV at the time when MTV still was relevant and made careers. And right? And it was more music than reality TV. And I see these four amazing, glamorous, classy, vivacious women in these amazing gowns, and it's at an age before I know what all that stuff and things mean, but I'm like, these women are amazing, and
oh my gosh,
and their voices and every video, which we're going to get into, was just so stylish and grabbed your attention, and they're confident and they're not shy about what they want. They're not apologizing for themselves, and they're encouraging girls like me to be the same, to go after what I want, to be comfortable in my own skin and vibe to amazing music while I do it, and not and really, like, as I was finding my way as a feminist before I even really knew what feminism was, but as I was finding my own voice and girl poweredness, EnVogue was a really, like, foundation step in my journey to finding myself. And over the years, I just always come back, to your music like an old friend.
Exactly. We're always there. Exactly.
Right?
That's the beauty of music, though. That's the beauty of music. But wow. Laura, thank you so much. We would have women come backstage because back then there was no social media.
Right.
So you either had, fan mail and you wrote a handwritten letter. But for the most part, we would have women come backstage at our shows, and it would be the grandmother who's like in her 70s or 60s, and then her granddaughter and her daughter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so generations of women would tell us those things about us, and we'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't think we knew the impact that we made on the world. We knew that we were successful. We could see that, but social media made it easier for people to talk to us directly, but we didn't have that then. Mm-hmm. So to hear your story was similar to some of the women that would come backstage. Like you saw us in a way that we weren't even trying to be, we just were. Oh my God. And I mean, there was no setup to EnVogue. In other words, there was no plan that we're going to be these types of women. Or we're going to say these messages in our music. We're going to put this in our music and say these things. It wasn't like that at all. There was no precursor to what EnVogue was supposed to be. It just became that. Mm-hmm. And I think that I was the most feisty out of all of us, because I would stand up for the things that were wrong, even when it wasn't popular to do that. Mm-hmm. It was risky for me to talk about the fact that we weren't making as much money as we deserved, or as much money as the people around us were making. So I started coming out and doing that, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to not be who I am just because they threatened to kick me out of the group. I'm going to continue talking about the things that matter and bring them up. And if they kick me out, they kick me out.
At least you're being authentic to yourself.
Well, exactly. That's right. Stand up for myself. Stand up for the group, though. Standing up for them and standing up for the group, too.
And other artists.
Other artists. That's right.
And I always find it kind of like peculiar, like, that the artists who are standing up for the rights and benefit of other artists, like, say, Prince, back in the day with the whole, get made fun of and flack, and then, after the fact,
Everybody's like,
Oh,
you know,
but I remember back in the day, and I mean, I could say, because at that time when he was doing the whole thing with Warner Brothers and the symbol and stuff, and I you know, this was before radio and having my eyes opened more to both sides
Sure.
of things. It's just you listen to the radio, you watch your talk shows, you know, and you vibe and do it, and you don't think deeper. It's like many things in life and many things that our country is talking about right now. Sometimes, unless it directly affects you, you don't, not that you don't care, you don't think about it unless it's
You don't think
affecting
about
you.
it. Right.
Right. So I was one of those who thought, oh, at that time Prince was just being eccentric, like, you know, Pete Diddy changing his name 600 times, like, oh, it's just like Diddy Combs, this, that, whatever.
Exactly.
Pete Diddy, Pete Combs, whatever. I thought, oh, it's just like a publicity sort of, like, marketing gimmick, whatever. But it wasn't until I was older, till I had this show, and you're owning your own creative things and you're protective of that and the direction it goes. So doing this has also enabled me to relate to artists on another level, because I understand, oh yeah, publishing, your image, your branding, getting what's right that's coming to you, you know, right, you think about it in a whole nother way, and then you think of all the artists you love and you're like, oh, well, were they being treated right? Did they get, you know, what they're supposed to get? And now I think and reflect on Prince's journey and yours as well, you know, how courageous, because you could just sit there and collect the checks and just go along with the machine, right?
Well, we weren't collecting the checks.
And that's the thing.
Point. Prince was paid very well. I mean, he
Prince.
by the time he passed away.
Right.
He was a multi-millionaire. Even when he had slave on his face and he wrote
right.
slave on his face.
He still had a lot of money.
Exactly, but his thing was that he wanted to control his works. He
right.
wanted to, like, you know, I don't know how Ray Charles was able to do it, but Ray Charles was on our label. He was on Atlantic Records.
Wow.
When he first started, with Ahmet Ertegun signed him as a genius artist. What a great... He saw the greatness in Ray Charles, and he signed him. Even though he was blind, he was amazing, and that didn't thwart his talent at all. And when Ray Charles wanted to fight for his rights, he wanted to own his masters of his music, his works, his body of work, and they were like, well, we can't really give you that. So I think ABC or CBS Records or ABC Records, I forget the label, they said, we're not only going to give you the rights to your masters, but we're also going to pay you exceptionally well.
Wow.
So he fought for his rights at a time when black people weren't even seen as human. And I was like, okay, we're on the same label as that man was. We need to stand up for ourselves as black women.
Yeah.
Because we were the first major, I want to say we were the first major artist on Atlantic Records, female. As far as the group was concerned. But it didn't matter. I kept saying, you guys, you know, everybody around us, our producers, the managers, the record company, everybody around us is making money hand over fist.
Right.
They're all multimillionaires because of us. So we deserve to get the same thing. And we were just too afraid to do it. We were too afraid to stand in solidarity together. And then Terry, dating our producer, put her on another side. It's like we were divided. She was over here and we were over here. So that was already a big faux pas. It was for us to come together, exactly, because she had his back instead of having our backs.
Right. And then just because of the dynamics of things, I'm sure you automatically would be a little questioning of her agenda with anything she might say, thinking that he's trying to get his agenda through her.
Well, you know, but the thing is, Laura, it would have been great. I mean, if as a man, and maybe he did tell her this, and maybe she just didn't want to do it, but as her man, he should have been saying, Terry, I love you, I think we got a great thing going, but we have business as well.
Right.
The business was there first.
Love second.
First. And you have to stand behind your girls.
Right.
You got to stand in their corner because you guys are a group, and the four of you signed a contract with us as producers through the major label. So I'm your man, but I'm also your production company. You know what I mean? I am your producer. And so if I were you, I would stand over there with your girls, because you have to do the right thing business-wise.
Right.
You have to make decisions that are going to be right for you guys as a group, so that everybody can be happy. But if you're over here with me, it's going to separate everything, and the girls are going to be resentful of you. Mm-hmm. I didn't care. None of us cared that she was dating Denny. I thought it was cute. We all thought it was like, oh, they got a crush on each other. When we first noticed that they were kind of getting hot on each other, hot for each other. And we were like, oh my God, that's so cute. I didn't care what she did as far as that was concerned. What I cared about is whether she was going to be woman enough and businesswoman enough
just to look out for the group's interest.
Yes, because the bottom line is the money at the end of the day. And so, in other words, if you and Denny break up, what is you went against the group, and now the group is gone, and you and Denny broke up, so now what do you have? You know, it's like, so I just wish that I would have respected her a lot more if she said, you know what, I have a relationship with Denny, but that does not change the business that I have to do with you guys. Mm-hmm. And stood by our side. That would have changed everything. We would be having a whole different conversation right now.
Right? And especially with, a group that was so much part of your marketing and presence was about girl power and sisterhood and inspiring women to be bold and strong, and that were the other thing really that I love about you, because you were like the Spitfire of the groups, I related to you a lot. I really liked that EnVogue also showed that women can't be put in a box. That we are multifaceted, we're the career woman, we're creative, we're nurturing, we're mothers, we're lovers, we want respect in all areas of life. I can be in leather pants one day and a cocktail gown and then cooking dinner, and I'm all these things, not just one thing.
Well, Laura, you speak to something that was really profound. You almost said it verbatim. I think we were out we had been out about a year, and we were doing all the press junkets and all that stuff. We were doing a lot of television, and I think we were in Oakland at the Paramount Theater, Oakland, California, and Gladys Knight was there. And we were like, oh my, we have to meet Gladys Knight, like Miss Gladys Knight.
Yes.
Gladys Knight, the only Gladys Knight on the planet. And she walked up to us, and she started yelling before we could even get to her, because she was walking up the hall at the same time. And we all ended up in one room all together, and she was like, oh my God, you ladies are indicative of all the girl groups in the 60s. That was my era. When Gladys Knight and the Pips came out, we were in the 60s with the Supremes and all of those artists, and you ladies are classy, blah, 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 blah. She said all these wonderful things, and she said, I'm going to give you guys a bit of advice, because we had talked a little bit, and then by the end of the conversation, she kind of ended it like saying, she said, you guys are going to have to wear many hats as women. You're going to have to one day be a mother. You're already an artist, so maybe you're going to be a mother. You have to be businesswomen. You might have to be producers. You're going to wear many hats, and you have to do that. So you have to take your own career in your own hands, and don't let anyone control you.
Yes.
She said exactly what you're saying right now. So it's like you were in the room with us. It's amazing. But yeah, she was making it clear to us that and not even just with men, but women can be very possessive and very demanding and controlling as well, just because they have a position and they can do that.
Right.
And you can't allow them to do that. You have to speak up for yourself. You always say what's on your mind. If you don't like something, speak up. Say you don't like it. Don't sit there and be like, well, because you'll end up in a situation that you're not happy with, and you'll resent that situation. So yeah, she said exactly what you just said. You're going to be, a wife, a mother, a businesswoman, all these different hats that you have to wear. So yeah, you said exactly what you say. It's amazing.
And I think one of the things also, like you talked earlier about just you ladies were just organic, and it was just your personalities, and you were making statements, but you didn't even realize it. So
Exactly.
I remember the first time you performed on the MTV Music Awards.
Oh my gosh.
Back when I used to care about that, and so and I'm like, oh, it's coming out, So I was so excited,
Show back then.
right?
It was so great.
So taking our listeners back and educating those who were born after the fact, we're all here together. Right, so I want to say this was maybe like 1991-ish. So the videos were all circulating. And, you had performed, I think, maybe on Arsenio Hall and some of the talk shows. But the MTV Video Awards that year was the first, like, major award show performance. So, right. So, and I remember For Your Mind. First of all, I just loved the lyrics of that song. I mean, the guitar riff is like phenomenal, but the boiled down message, before you read me, you got to learn how to see me.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Was such powerful words. And when I was a teenager and I'm hearing this, like at that level, because with songs and lyrics, the more you go through life experiences, it has deeper and different meanings. But at that age, like, I took from that, okay, be comfortable in your own skin, embrace everybody, even if they're different than you, be strong in who you are, but not disrespectful of other people. And when you guys came out, okay, and I remember you were in white pants, and you had these thigh-high black boots, patent leather, and I think you had like a bun faux, and it was like spiky out here, and it was like all this kind of edgy fashion. So, and it was like a total switch from the first initial videos, which were all a throwback visually to like the doo-wop girl groups, like the Supremes.
For Your Mind was not so much a throwback. It was actually a vision of the future.
Exactly. Which is what I'm saying, like, right, like, hold on, and I'm never gonna get it. You were giving him something he could feel. That was total, like, throwback, girl group with the red dresses and the iris and the hair, and giving him like a little Billie Holiday, Supremes, Marvelettes, and then, Hold On. I felt that's where we were jumping into a little more like sexy, because everybody.
Hold On was first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hold On was first. Yeah.
Exactly. So the little black dresses.
Yes, it was so perfect and timeless. And so, like, every time I'm in my little cute black gown, like, I'm giving Terry, and I'm giving, and my favorite part was the opening sequence when you were doing the a cappella to yes, I found you. Yes.
What's it said? Wait, don't you know? Hang around. I can't sing about myself because I said
right. Well, I could sing, but it would be bad. So and then and then the beat goes, and then you're all doing your isolated poses. So in my mind, like, I always placed myself in the video doing my pose, and every time I'm in some cute black dress, I'm like, okay, I'm giving Dawn tonight. I'm giving Maxine.
Giving Maxine. Yes, exactly. I love it.
But when Free Your Mind, came out, and like you said, it was a futuristic kind of funky, more modern, and I just remember how visually impactful that was. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, and that speaks to that we can be many things. I'm like, oh, they're so glamorous, and yes, and then you're like, I wear tight clothing, and you're like charging out there. Yes.
Yes. I like rap music. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes, exactly.
And literally, like, you were stomping in the performance. Like, part of it was, that was empowering, was the attitude, like, the edge, like, yes, I'm here, I'm a woman, I'm going to be me, I'm getting mine, I'm going to wear these boots, and you're not going to put me in a box, and here I am. And that performance was just so powerful, and especially at that time.
Yes, well, our producers wrote that song based on our idea, each of our ideas of what we thought prejudice was. And it was crazy because the song says powerful, but at that time he was taking away our power by telling us that we couldn't write on the second album, and it got ugly as far as business was concerned. But the song was indicative of. There's a song by Parliament Funkadelic that George Clinton said. Free your mind and your ass will follow. That was back in the day, like back in the 70s. That was his. So Denny and Tommy took the idea to say free your mind and the rest will follow. Instead of having us, your ass will follow. Free your mind and the rest will follow. And it's indicative of right now, it's indicative 100 years from now of people coming together. Stop judging me based on what you see. Mm-hmm. Stop judging me because I'm white or I'm black or I'm Asian or I'm Latina. See me as a human being. And that's made. See me as a woman. See me as not a woman or a man, but a human being.
Yes.
Appreciate me for who I am, and that's basically what the song was. So, I was proud of us because right in the middle of recording the second album, Funky Divas, here's this rock track when we got to the studio. We were like, "Oh my God!" I was in heaven. Because my father raised me on rock and roll. My parents had rock and roll playing in the house like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, all the time. So this was total freedom. I could not believe that our producers had the mindset to say, okay, we're black men, and these are black women, but we're going to do a song that has predominantly rock and roll to it. It's got an edge to it. We're going to do that. I was so proud of them for that because they freed their minds. Mm-hmm. They literally did it, and they weren't afraid to go there. I remember when we were getting ready to release the song to video, release the video to TV, and BET, of course, because they were our foundation, they started us off because MTV didn't play us at first. Yeah, and until we became popular, then MTV was like, oh, we got to put these girls on. But at first, MTV wasn't playing us at all. Wow. Excuse me. And it was, BET was there from the beginning. They had no questions. They played us right away, and they gave us a lot of love. So, but when we had Free Your Mind, BET was like, oh, there's too much guitar. You guys got to pull the guitar back.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. We're doing our song our way. Exactly. And you either accept the song as it is or you don't accept it at all. And we had this big battle between the record company telling us we got to pull the guitars back. And I think we ended up doing a little bit of that in the mix. And then we released it because MTV and BET were fighting over who releases it first. Okay. So
because back in the day, it was all about the world premiere and the exclusive. Yes.
Exactly. You remember? Yes, Laura. Exactly. So yeah, we gave BET the video first, and then 5 minutes later, MTV was able to release it as well. Okay. But MTV accepted it as it was. They didn't change anything. They love the guitar. So that's why I was like, if we're going to do a rock song, let's not be afraid of what we did. Let's put it out there just as is. Mm-hmm. And they either accept it or they don't. And if they don't, that's fine. But, I think the record company was like, well, we're going to appease them. And it's okay. It ended up great anyway. It's like the Free Your Mind message got across to the whole entire world. I mean, we had what do you call it? We had a pit of people dancing and throwing each other around.
I remember, yes.
Exactly, in the video. So, we were really edgy, and I was proud of us for that. So that's why in the video I'm jumping and I'm running and I'm doing my thing because I lost my mind. Like, this is my element. I am Free Your Mind for real.
Yeah. Well, now, of course, I peep multiple gold and platinum records behind your shoulder.
Yes.
So exciting!
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the, this is the, what is that? And the, I think this is for My Love and Never Gonna Get It. And that's 1,500,000 copies sold. And then you have, let me go over here. This is a platinum single for Hold On. And that had gone platinum. See the cassette?
Yes.
Do you see the cassette?
That's taking it way back.
It's so taking it way back. And then this is the platinum sales award for Funky Diva's album. And my parents, this was from my parents' house. They had a fire, so you can see where it's all bubbled up. Yeah, but this was a cassette and CD for Funky Divas, 1 million copies sold.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot. And then this is the Alicia Keys. We did the award show.
Yes.
In 2008. Yeah, the BET Awards.
Yeah, that was an iconic moment. In 2008, Alicia Keys was hosting the BET Awards, and so she surprised the audience, bringing out many iconic girl band group members, and included EnVogue in the montage.
Yeah, she did. She did. She was so gracious, Laura, I gotta say, because she had just released a new album that year. And the whole time that she had, you know, SWV, us, and TLC on stage, that was all her time.
Yeah.
So she could have done a whole, like, she could have done 20 songs in that time, you know, little pieces of each song, because she had so many hits herself. And she was gracious enough to tell us, you know, I want you guys on here. And SWV and TLC, she was really, she loves girl groups, and you can tell she was one of us, you know.
Right?
She was right in there with all of us. Don't go chasing waterfalls. She was doing all that. So yeah, she was very gracious to do that with us. Well, yeah, I have a lot of awards and things that I'm so proud of.
Wow.
Lucy Pearl.
Well, I'm so excited and thrilled and feel honored just to get a window into that.
Thank you so much. I'm glad. It's because of you guys that this happened in the first place. We wouldn't have any of this. Nobody would know who the heck I was except my family and whatever 9-to-5 job I have. So it's because of you guys loving us. And again, I'm living my life right now vicariously through what you said as a young person, watching as a young woman, watching us. You know what I mean? It's like you never know what impact you're having on people. And it's just nice to know how you felt when you saw us. Like, wow. You know, and I hear it all the time, but it's like, I love hearing it each time because it's a different explanation of what a woman thought EnVogue meant to them. And I just love that. So, hope I didn't digress your conversation.
Not at all. Come on. It's like, it's all champagne right now. It's
okay. That's exactly right.
So, you know, the 90s really was a beautiful, like, I feel in some ways the 90s gets unfair slack, like, oh, junky music and this and that. The 90s was an amazing time for girl groups. It was just like a beautiful time. And in addition to EnVogue, of course, they had TLC, Destiny's Child, which was us first becoming aware of Beyonce, and Jade, and Brownstone, and
Ex-Girlfriend, Black.
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 And then
Jade, you said Jade, right?
Jade, yes. And
well, there were so many girl groups. We were the first, I gotta say. Hello.
Yes, you were.
We were the first.
Woo!
I'm very proud of that. But it was so. I was proud of all the girl groups because they all had their own thing. I think Jade was closest to us as far as vocals were concerned and harmonies. Brownstone and Jade kind of did that like us, but as far as their look was concerned, they had their own thing.
Yeah, they were more a little street edgy, a little more urban influence in their fashion.
Right, exactly. And Total, we had Total.
Oh, yes.
I love Total. Is probably my favorite girl group. A 702 Escape. Remember that?
Yes. Where my girls at?
Exactly. Where my girls
at? From the front to back. Feel that?
Yeah. Put hand up. Can you repeat that? Yes. Exactly. So there were a lot of girl groups, but we were the first to start it off, and that was like a huge place to be. I was proud of us because it's like, okay, you guys are trying to bring your own girl group out, which is great. That always happens. Anytime there's a Coca-Cola, there's a bunch of different Coca-Colas that come out after.
Right,
everybody's trying to do their own version of Coca-Cola. So I was like, heck yeah, we're the first ones out. What I'm upset about is that we didn't get paid like we should have.
Yeah.
So being the first on the market, it's like, okay, but where's the money? Show us the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Jerry Maguire, where's the money? Show me the money. You know, and they didn't do that. So I was always trying to get us to fight. At first I didn't realize what was going on, and I was just happy to be there, just like the other girls. I wasn't making any waves. I wasn't calling out the record company. And then after a while, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, our producers have mansions. Our choreographer has a mansion.
Wow.
The record company woman, the head of the CEO of the label, has a mansion. Like, she's got, where's ours? You know, what's going on with that? We have to stand up. And I would always get Maxine in my corner, and we would talk and have these powwows, these powerful conversations about what we need to fight for and how we need to get Cindy and Terry on board. And the next day, I would wake up and have my breakfast or whatever, and then I'd call Maxine at about 11 a.m., and she's like, Dawn, I talked to Denny last night, and he said that we shouldn't do that. And I'm like, Maxine, don't talk to someone who's not going to be in our corner. We have to stand in solidarity as a group. We have to be powerful in our own right. We can't wait for other people to do it for us. We have to do it ourselves.
Right.
Okay. And then we talk again maybe another month later, and again, we'd be right there on the front lines. And I'm like, I turn around the next day, and I'm ready. I got my rifle, and I'm on the front lines, and we're going to war. And I'm like, Maxine, are you ready? And she's like, well, I talked to Cindy, and she's like, she doesn't really want to fight, and she's scared. Or she talked to Terry, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys, please, we are not making any, we're doing all this work. The world knows our name. If there's life on other planets, they know who EnVogue is, and yet we're not making any money. Like, there's something wrong with this. Come on, you gotta fight with me, and don't fight against me.
And it's like, upsetting knowing that, you know, bands that were influencing so many people, and really, like you said, MTV just went to the next level of popularity with groups like EnVogue and Prince and his 90s round of things, and all Tina Turner. Yeah, like it really carried that network into the higher stratosphere, reached the teenage market, and took things monetarily to the next level. And it's sad, and this is something that just, you know, trying to articulate this in the right way. Like the longer that I do my show and grow in different ways, I just become more, and the more things like I become aware of, it just really makes me angry. Like, you know, I've talked about this in different ways, but being an independent podcaster, okay, not only is it great because you're owning your own stuff, but I can make the decisions. I can talk about what I want, like this right now.
That's right.
I can play what I want. I decide.
You call your own shots.
Right.
Shots.
You know, I decide where I'm going to be distributed and whatnot. And because I'm a person who truly, like, I support artists. And if your work and you just as a person has touched me and resonated with, I'm rocking with you. I don't charge people to play their songs.
That's so cool.
At all. Like, and if I believe in an artist, I'll just, like, send stuff to my networks and be, hey, you know, play this, hey, play that, you know.
That's so cool.
And I didn't realize that that's not how it's done.
Just go by
like,
felt.
Right, and it wasn't until I think when I was talking to John B. Like 2 weeks ago during our interview, and he was talking about the whole analyzing the whole idea of being number one, and if you don't have the budget and this and that, and I naively thought growing up during those years, the MTV and the radio stations and stuff were playing all these songs because they're great songs. I never knew that you had. Yeah, I had no idea. So when I started my show, I never even, of course I didn't know, and I didn't even have that mindset. And when people would approach me and say, oh, well, how much does it cost to have something on your show? I'm like, huh? I'm like,
should they charge?
I'm like, why would I charge you
You don't have to pay me.
Right. I'm like, if I like it, it's good.
Exactly.
Right. But, and now it's like I feel I have the best of both worlds because I'm distributed through iHeart and all these other places like Google and Amazon. But I don't have to deal with any bureaucracy of someone getting in my pot and telling me, oh, you can't play that, you can't this, you can't that.
That's so good. So you're not flagged for anything. You're free to do whatever you want.
Yes.
You call your own shots.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, today, before our segment, Jeff Bradshaw just released a new album. So I played it in his new song. Maxwell just released a new remix of one of his songs.
Wow.
So at the top of it, I played it, and then I can, reach out to people and say, hey, here's this song. If you want to play it, this, that. Now, maybe they will, maybe they won't, because if they have to adhere to program directors and all this nonsense. But I am
they have overhead to pay too, so that's where advertisements come in.
Exactly, that's the thing I don't understand. I understand the idea of the business and the fees, but it should come from other places than the artists, because the artists make your network and they make your name and your fan base.
You guys make us.
Right, it's symbiotic.
So it's back and forth. It's hand in hand that we should help each other. Because without music, you don't have a music show. You can have a talk show, but you don't have a music
Exactly.
Without the radio stations and platforms like yours and podcasts, we don't have a platform.
Mm-hmm. And now
we need MTV. MTV is music anymore, but we need your types of podcasts, and we need YouTube and channels like that put our music out to the fans directly.
And of course, the labels and publishing will charge stations like mine. The what do they call it? Residuals, I think it's called. With licensing, to play the music and all.
Yes.
Well, I feel that's more fair than actually charging an artist to play on. But when you think about it, it's kind of like the money's going in a circle. Well, you have to pay a fee for licensing to play the music, but then you're going to charge an artist to play the music in rotation.
Exactly. So you're double dipping.
Right, and then the artist is maybe getting a fraction of a dip.
Exactly. Well, it depends on the deal. And
exactly.
In a sense, with Beyonce got a great deal. Destiny's Child got a great deal because their father made sure, Matthew, Beyonce's father, made sure of it. But in our case, you're absolutely right. We got the least of it. So, it just depends on the artist. It depends on the deal that the artist has. But, again, I love the fact that you are indicative of what I call a strong woman. Because you're calling your own shots, you have your own thing. This is where I wanted EnVogue to be. Where you're at. Not having necessarily a podcast, but having the right to say what goes in our career. We're the ones who are going out on the road to promote those albums, to make all those people that I mentioned, our manager, the record company, our producers, our agents, we were making all of them more money, and we were getting the least of it, and we were doing all the work. So I just really, today I have to show my Betty Page t-shirt.
Oh, fabulous.
Because that's her right there.
Yes.
Blocking the light on her face. But
I can see it clearly with the little cat ears.
Yes, her cat ears, exactly. She was very strong at a time when women weren't allowed to be.
Right.
And you're talking about the late 40s, early 50s. she was very sensual and sexual, and she wanted to show that, and she wasn't allowed to. And she did it anyway. It's like nobody could stop me. So she was ostracized a lot of times because she spoke up for what she wanted to do. She wanted to be free with her own body and call her own shots. Gloria Steinem, you know, Oprah Winfrey. A lot of women have stood up for themselves when they needed to. That's all I wanted my group to do. Like, come on, you guys. We are the only ones not making money here. We're making money, but we're not making the kind where we can buy a mansion like our producers.
Right.
We're not making money where we can, you know, buy a Manhattan at the top of a skyscraper, you know, condo or townhome or whatever, like Sylvia Ramone had.
Or send all your future children to college.
Oh, thank you. That, I'm sorry, I haven't talked about anything meaningful, but yeah, that too. And just to be able to have the freedom, that financial freedom that money brings. You know,
Equity.
We didn't have that. Liquidity?
Equity. Yes.
Exactly,
yes.
Laura, that's right. So I kept intermittently throughout the years, like early on, I would say things like, well, and it was me and Cindy most times, let's start our own production company. You know, let's start Diva, or no, because it was before Funky Divas. So let's start EnVogue or EV Productions. And she's like, no, that's too much work. It's too much work. What? Okay, and then later on, I would say stuff like, well, let's come out with our own girl group. You know, a little girl group, just like, because I remember Michael Bivins came out with
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Not just Belle Biv DeVoe, but the little boys.
Oh yeah, ABC, another bad creation.
Another bad creation, exactly.
Moesha.
Exactly.
It's a girl I used to know.
You are good, you know these songs. And so I was like, okay, so Michael Bivins is a businessman because he has his own production company, and he's had his own label, and now he has another bad creation, and Belle Biv DeVoe was his as well. He came up with the idea, so let's do that, you guys. And Cindy was like, it's too much work. Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's too much work to be broke for the rest of our lives. We have to be multifaceted as far as multi streams of income coming in. Let's do that. Let's be stronger than just, oh, we're artists and we're pretty girls and we sing in videos.
Right.
It's cute, but we're making everybody else rich except for ourselves. Come on, man.
And I think the common thread that I yearn to pass on, not just to any artists who may be listening to this or will listen to it when it goes to all its other places, but just women as a whole. Owning things is the most important thing, as much as possible.
I'm sorry, even if it's a 9-to-5 job and you think that you deserve a raise because you've been there longer than the person that just got one.
Yes.
And they didn't give you the raise.
Exactly.
So you don't have to be a celebrity. Stand up for yourself. We are only here on this planet, you know, and I always say this, in a person's lifetime from 0 to 100 is not very long. It's not very long. And most times we die in our 80s. You know, Alex Trebek just died at 80 years old. That's way too young to me. My grandmother was 99 years old. That's
wow.
good and right. She was ready to go. She's like, okay, guys, I'm out. You know, she was literally two months shy of her 100th birthday.
Wow.
So I say that to say, yeah, anybody should stand up. Any woman should stand up for yourself, because a lot of times we are still hitting the glass ceiling. We're still having men tell us what to do and what not to do with our bodies. You know, it's like we're still not as powerful as we could be. And they
try and condition us to feel bad about standing up. Like
exactly.
we're not being a good person or staying in our pocket if we stand up and say we're not happy, we don't feel respected.
Exactly.
And
that's right, Laura.
Anybody, I don't care what it is, whether it's work, love, a creative venture, anybody who's going to tell you to not walk in your own beliefs and truth and purpose isn't for you, so don't listen to them, because they don't have your interest at heart. They have their interest at heart.
Exactly, and a lot of times, especially with men, they're very intimidated by our power as women. They don't want us to own our power. Back in the days, I think it was the sexual revolution, like in the 60s, it was like people were tired, especially women, tired of being told what to do, what to wear, and how to look, and how to think. And so they stood up for themselves, and they were like, no, we are sexually free, and we're doing drugs and rock and roll, and it was all of that, because people were tired of being told, okay, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna be a good little woman, you're gonna be quiet, you're gonna be a housewife.
You're gonna accept it whether you like it or not.
That's right, and you're gonna have babies, you're just gonna be in the kitchen cooking and have dinner ready for the husband when he gets home. What?
No.
I don't mind doing that. I will do that on my own, though. I don't need society to tell me that. I'll cook for my man because I want to. Not because I'm told to.
Exactly.
Or I'm judged because I don't do that. Because I decided to take a job. Because I want to be in the workplace. I have things to say. I'll have things, creative things that I want to do with my life. And I don't want to be just a housewife.
Right.
I don't want to be locked in the kitchen all day long. I don't want to wait till my children and my kids and my husband get home from work just to be, how was your day?
Right.
It's like, no, I had an amazing day too, and I'm getting ready to cook dinner for all of us, and we can all sit down and talk about it at the table.
Yes.
About how all of our days were. So, I don't know. I just feel like, and even when women didn't have the right to vote, I think it was the
suffragette. The suffragette.
Exactly. Act. Black women still were not allowed to vote at that point. When women got the right to vote and they fought for it, white women were, Asian women were, but not black women. We still had another 4 years, I think it was, 4 years before we got the right to vote. So it was still, they were still trying to push us down even then, you know. But yeah, women are powerful. Joan of Arc was powerful because of that. They burned her at the stake, you know, called her a witch because she was seeing things and having visions of her future and future things to come, and was winning wars and standing up for their rights and all of that back then. So she was way ahead of her time.
Yes.
Way ahead of her time. Yeah, you're talking about, I think it was, what, the 1400s? Something crazy. But women have been powerful for a very long time, and men know that. That's why they try to hold us back.
And
so that's why I was trying to tell my group, you guys, we just, free your freaking mind. Free Your Mind was the song that should have told all of us, hey, Dawn's right.
Yeah.
Let's fight.
Let's come together and ask and demand better.
Thank you. That's all it was. I wasn't trying to take the whole pot. I wasn't trying to take what the record company was making or take from our producers or our choreographer. I was trying to say that we deserve it as well.
Right.
If we made it for everybody else to be rich and have money and have mansions, we should have the same thing.
And you should have the most say.
Exactly. That's true too. Yeah. Well, at that point, we were still in our production company, so our producers were the ones who signed us, but they were also... They were the ones who signed us, but they were the ones who... We were in a deal with them, so we were signed to the production company to the major label, Atlantic Records, through the production company. So it was like, okay, we can stand up for ourselves, but when we stand up for us, we're also standing up for our production company. So everybody would have won.
Yes.
It was crazy. I couldn't get through to them, but now I know better. Now I know that taking a name, when you have a name and you have power... when you have a name, you have power.
Right.
And the world knows who I am, and I'm going to take that and run with it, because I've learned over the years, it was a learning curve for me to get over the anger of EnVogue not listening to me, and then kicking me out of the group for doing the same exact thing that Terry did first. Terry did a solo album, and they were like fine with it, and then I did a solo album, and they're like, Dawn, you have to go. Like, really? I don't understand how this is okay with you guys. Like, it was so unfair, but that's okay. I digress.
Look,
So
Phil Collins did many solo albums and stayed with Genesis. You know,
he was always the lead singer.
He was always the lead singer.
There was no other lead singer.
Right, and that's different from EnVogue and even Lucy Pearl, because it was equal featured vocalist, which also made your group unique in that way too. But you were also created in that inception where all the members could equally carry the parts.
Exactly, that's right. But you can say that. Robbie Brown went off and did his own thing, and then came back to the group New Edition, occasionally get to tour when they could get along with each other. And then Beyonce did the same thing. She goes back and forth sometimes with Destiny's Child. So, you know...
And Michelle and Kelly have had very successful careers.
They have,
I know.
Yes.
And Michelle went more in the gospel route, and Kelly's a more kind of pop, a little bit more pop than Destiny's Child was. And she's become a very successful entrepreneur with her it's like a legging line and shoes, kind of like Kate Hudson's Fabletics, you know.
Exactly.
So, and then
Stefani?
Kelly Rowland, she's launched her own legging line, and
Wow.
and she sells like shoes and all different stuff, and it's really cool. Like, she's pregnant right now, and she just released some imagery, kind of like Demi Moore did years ago with that famous Annie Leibovitz Vanity Fair with the tuxedo painted on her stomach, and she was like all bronzy and glowy, and I think like some bikini or something, kind of like vibe, you know, all fabulous. And you know, these are but these are also statements that have long range impact. You know, when you have women like that who are challenging the norm, so to speak, right? And they say, hey, I'm pregnant and I'm in a beautiful relationship and I'm embracing my body. No, that's not right for everybody. But the step of her saying, hey, here I am and I'm glowing and this is me and I'm still handling my business and my corporation and I just released a single and here I am. You know, I feel that is really like whatever your lane in life is. Like, that is what we should not only want but push for, that we're moving in beautifully from one area of life to another, flexing and pivoting. And it's also great to see now a lot of artists becoming entrepreneurs.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm proud of that as well. I mean, we should be. Everybody should be. If you've had a name and the world knows who you are, that you are a brand.
Yes.
And that brand should be franchised. And that's what I was trying to tell the girls. We need dolls. No, it's too much work. We need a makeup line. Because we were wearing MAC makeup, MAC lipstick, especially the MAC lipstick all the time when we would do Arsenio Hall.
Right.
We would get fan mail. Exactly. We would get fan mail asking us what color lipstick we're wearing. I'm like, you guys, we need to go to freaking MAC and tell them we want a Cindy lipstick. We want a funky, because
funky D, right? And you know,
we want our own lipstick line.
And of course, now that's just circumplace, like celebrity endorsements and partnerships. But back in the night, because Dawn, you were so forward thinking.
Yes, thank you so much. I could just see it. I'm like, you guys, why not do dolls? That doesn't make sense. Well, black artists don't have dolls.
Be the first, which makes it even more amazing.
Let's be the first.
Yes.
Let's not listen to what hasn't happened.
I totally would have bought the EnVogue dolls.
Oh, come on.
And then I would have been there. I would have been there having concerts, you know.
Exactly.
Woo!
Silver dresses would have been so cute.
Oh
my god. Like shimmery little dresses that moved. I'm going to do that. I'm going to freaking do that. And then our Free Your Mind outfits or our red dresses. Come on. They would have had 3 different outfits to change from.
Because your fashion was so iconic.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Those styles would have been so great. Or if we did the little black dresses, like that would have been 4 outfits. Never going to get it. Silver dresses, the red dresses from Giving Them Something to Feel.
And the Free Your Mind.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you could have done the hip hop lover dolls, and then you could have some You're too young for me.
Yeah.
They could have had some little buddies there, like the sidekick guys.
Exactly. They didn't want to listen to me though, so oh well. But I'll do it. I'm gonna do all those things that I wanted to do back then that I didn't get a chance to, because everybody says it's too much work. It's too much work. It's too much. What you have to think of your future. Now Cindy has 4 kids. At the time, she didn't have any children.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, you wish that you had all those franchises and all that money, those other streams of income to come in, because we didn't make money on the music, but we could have made money on dolls.
Right.
We could have made money on a clothing line. We could have made money on a makeup line for EnVogue. Like, it makes no sense.
Well, I hear that you're in the process of writing a book.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yes.
I am. I'm so grateful. I am writing my autobiographical book. You know, it's not a tell-all, because I got a few people saying, "Oh, you're gonna give the dish. You're gonna dish the dirt and sip tea." And I'm like, I'm not sipping tea. This is really telling my story, how it happened. I've never been a tea sipper.
Yeah.
I've never dished dirt on anybody. I just want to tell my story, how it happened. You know? And some of that may seem like it's dishing, and it's like blowing up and being messy and blowing up the other girls, but it's just really telling my truth and how I lived it, how I saw it, how it happened. So in that, there may be some, ooh, Dawn, whoa, but that is what happened.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just really, I want to be able to give other artists, especially groups, a chance to see this is what you don't do. You know what I mean? This is how you guys be different than what we did, because we weren't supportive of each other. I was supportive of the group, but the group wasn't supportive of me. So don't do that. You know what I mean? Stand up for yourself, stand up for the group, and make sure you guys stand up for each other. When I have a group, I want to create a girl group called Glam. And I want the group to dress like LaBelle did back in the 70s, with all the like Kiss outfits that they used to wear, with the
headdresses and
exactly, and the big boots, you know, the big platform boots, and then
I'm here for that. I'm totally here for that.
It's so dope. It's such a dope idea, right? And I want them to play instruments like Climax and sing harmonies like EnVogue. So what I didn't like is that we never played instruments. We didn't learn how to play anything. So I want these girls to play. But I also want to empower them to just support each other. Because when you stop communicating on any level, I don't care if it's you and your kids, or you and your man or wife or husband or girlfriend or boyfriend,
right?
Or even your family members, your mom and dad, or you know, your co-workers at work. If you stop communicating, that's when the system breaks down.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I want my group to be able to, and I'm not going to be in the group. I'm just going to create the group and get out of their way. But I want them to be able to communicate with each other, because when that breaks down and someone's upset because someone took their dress, or some guy looked at you more than she looked at me, and he was trying to pick up on me and you took over and you stepped in, or anything like that, little misunderstandings are the things that blow us out of proportion, and it becomes, before you know it, the whole group is over.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? And we broke up, and it's like,
and once you lose that trust and comfort with each other, it's hard to get back to the natural, organic place.
Right. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I digress. I'm working on my book, but I just started my label, Stiletto Entertainment, which is a high heel stiletto.
Yes.
And I'm getting ready to do a crowdfunding campaign.
Okay.
Because I started looking at artists like Kristen Bell, she asked for $2.5 million on Kickstarter.
Wow.
And she ended up with $5.4 million.
Wow.
Like, are you kidding? She has the biggest, to this day, she still has the biggest campaign ever on Kickstarter. Like, to do a movie, she was doing a movie. So she got a lot of money. And then Whoopi Goldberg asked for $300,000 and ended up getting $600,000. De La Soul, same thing. They wanted $100,000 and $150,000, and they ended up getting $600,000. Same thing with TLC. They asked for $200,000, ended up getting $600,000. So I'm like, okay, why not? You know, it's out there. It's there for a reason. I'm going to go ahead and utilize that.
Yeah.
So, I have a few things on the table that I'm doing and that I'm excited about.
Well, that's exciting. Well, you definitely have to keep me in loop on everything you have going on. I'm always there to support. So excited to just have this talk today. And
oh my gosh, you're so fun, Laura. Please promise me that you're going to have me back.
Yes, of course.
When my album comes out, I want to hear what you think. And when my book comes out, I want you to read it and tell me what you think if you're a reader at all.
For
I don't
sure.
wanna push you, but if you're a reader, yeah, I want to see what your thoughts are in that. I'd love to come back on your format. You're a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. Of course, that goes without saying.
We have to do our fabulous makeup again.
Yes, that's right.
I don't even have on eyeshadow today.
I actually do have a pink eyeshadow. I didn't do any sparkle. I rushed out of the house.
You do like beautiful green into yellow. You have beautiful makeup all the time. So I was like, okay, that's why I have on so much today, because I had to step up to your plate.
Oh gosh, I feel so flattered. I mean, I'm like stepping off of your plate through my. So.
You are fabulous with your outfit today, I must say. You are very EnVogue today.
Yes,
so,
yes.
You're an honorary member of EnVogue with your leopard.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm so excited I can now say I'm a funky diva. Yes.
You are a funky diva officially now. Yes, I donned you a funky diva.
Thank you. We'll have a ceremony.
Wait, what is it? No, you're a dame. Now you're
oh, yes. Right, yes. A funky diva dame. We'll have to have a ceremony later.
Exactly. Yes, we will. We'll be together.
All right, so follow Dawn Robinson on Instagram.
Exactly. Actually, it's Dawn Robinson Diva on Instagram and Facebook. Twitter is just Dawn Robinson by itself.
Excellent. And of course, you can follow the Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Facebook page and follow me on Instagram at the Laura Mazurk. We're going to take you out on another fabulous, funky, groovy block of Dawn Robinson and EnVogue music. Thank you for tuning in. Until next week, stay strong, stay beautiful, stay empowered. Dawn, it has been such a pleasure.
Oh my gosh, Laura, thank you so much. I'm glad we got it done quickly too, because I fit you in between a lot of other interviews that I'm doing, so I love it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a blessed day.
You too. I want to hear the music you're going to
Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. All right. We're just going to do an interlude snap. Interlude snap. This is the song where it all started.
Oh my gosh.
Many say that I'm too young to let you know just where I'm coming from. Yeah, but you will see, it's just a matter of time. My love will surely make you mine. Living in a world of ghetto life, everyone seems so uptight, but nothing's wrong and nothing's right with my man. I like the way we carry on. His love and will send me on and on with my man. People out there can understand. I'm giving him something he can feel. Ooh, to let him know this love is real. Giving him something he can feel. Oh, my love, to let him know this love is real. Oh, my love is real. This love is real. So much joy for us, it seems. So much hope for material things. Are they only in my dreams? And that's exactly why I'm singing this song to you. To let you know that real dreams do come true. You tell me, what does it mean?